All right, everybody, welcome back to another great edition of our favorite show to do each week, Random Conversations. I am your host, as always, Richie Rich, and I'm welcoming into the show tonight my co-host, John Wayland. What's up, brother? How you doing tonight?
I am doing amazing. It's a great night. Glad to be here. We're going to have some fun. I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight, but we're going to have some fun talking about it nonetheless. Life is fantastic. The weather's beautiful out this week.
Yeah, you're in sweater weather still.
It is I think it's like 60 degrees right now, 65 degrees. And
yeah, it's still 101 over here, dude.
It's been like unseasonably hot still. It's in the 80s right now during the day, but then at night.
You poor bastard.
Oh, I know that 80s weather. It's tough living out where I live right now.
I'm sure that sun's beating down on your ass at 80 degrees.
Breaking my neck out there, and all that heat and all that craziness. But in a few months, we'll have winter, and you'll have nice 80-degree temperatures every day, and you can rub it into me when I'm freezing my ass
I might
off.
be able to wear a sweatshirt, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe for a week.
I'll be bundled up in every freaking thing in the world, man. Thermals, you name it. That's the not fun part about the winter out here. But what's new with you, man? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing great, brother. I feel like things have been challenging in life lately for a lot of people, and we just roll with the punches out here, and do the best we can. In life, you go through challenges. It makes you stronger. It presses you into what you're supposed to be, and I think that's kind of the message for tonight's show. Like, even though life gives you lemons, man, you squeeze that shit and you make lemonade.
Yeah, I like it, man. It's a good topic because it's like a true thing about life is, if you just give up every time it gets hard, you're going to be giving up a shit ton because
for sure.
It's not easy in this world right now.
No,
what's been going on with you? What challenges have you been encountering? What things have you seen that's been going on in others?
Just like in everybody's household, you go through marriage problems and stuff like that. And that's kind of what's, been going on in my household. And, sometimes you go through that kind of stuff and it's rough. The best marriages work it out together. True love always finds its way, in my opinion. And we're working through our stuff, man. There's a lot of adjustments that we both need to make, and we're definitely trying to do that. We're trying to work on things, work on ourselves, and get through things.
What adjustments are you trying to make?
Me, myself, I'm trying to make more time to be home. A lot of times in life, when you're a man, it's either you're a really good provider or you're really not good provider and you're at home all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard nowadays to balance that, especially when you're in my world and the industry that I'm in, because money is so I always say if you're in HVAC and refrigeration, you have a license to print money.
Mm-hmm.
And that money becomes an addiction, just like any other drug. So when you're seeing, your savings go up at a rapid rate, when you're able to do things that you've never been able to do in your life and stuff like that, you'll go out there and you'll grind, wake up 3 a.m, not get home till 7, 8 o'clock at night, hop on the podcast and not really have a lot of time other than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually an hour. You have dinner, you say your hellos at the dinner table and you go to bed. So one of the ways that I'm trying to, be more readily available for my family is, I'm trying not to work as much, man. And it's hard because there's a lot of goals that I want to reach at a rapid pace. I'm like you, I'm a very money motivated individual. And so now I got to slow it down a little bit, and it's worth it. Somebody at my work, one of my customers pointed it out to me. One of the smartest things I've ever heard. You can have all the money in the world. You can have all the work in the world, but the time with your family, you're never going to get back.
Yeah, that's true.
And what good is the money if you're not able to enjoy it with the people that you love most?
Yeah, no, it's a true sentiment, man. It's a really true statement.
Yeah.
It sucks that money's so important in this world that you got to have it to live,
Absolutely.
and you got to work really hard to make what you have and stuff.
Yeah.
Money is like a drug, though.
It is, especially because
I'm addicted to making it. I'll say
I'm
that.
addicted to making it too, because you get and success is an addiction. the more that you achieve, the more that you see that you're able to do that, it gives you a high as well.
Yeah.
You feel like you're on top of the world, that nothing can stop you. I've also been having health issues, my stomach and stuff like that. I've probably got some sort of hernia that I'm
Ooh.
stubborn as fuck and won't go get checked out. Um, it's stuff like that I've slacked on and haven't really taken care of. It's important. My health is everything. If I continue on the path that I'm on, I'm not going to be able to make the money for my family and stuff like that.
Well, if you continue on the path of not taking care of yourself too, you might not live.
That's right. That's right.
Self-care is like the most important thing in the
And
world that we all fail to do so many times.
yeah, and then not having time to do shit around here, around the house, and stuff like that. It all stacks up and it causes problems in marriage and stuff because you need to have a healthy balance of everything. And when you don't have that, um, you lose touch of things. You lose touch of things. You lose touch of your relationship. You think in your head that you're not affecting your relationship by being gone all the time. That you're being a really good provider, and you think, well, why are they upset with me? I'm giving them everything that they ever wanted, but what they really want is you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what they really want is your time, you to be there enjoying it and stuff like that. And that's something I'm trying to learn. I mean, that's an issue that I've had a problem with is I just don't know when to stop.
You don't want to give it up at the expense of your family and what's important,
Right.
though.
Right.
I mean, making money is important, of course, in life.
It
And
is.
as you said, I'm very money driven too. So
Sure.
I'm not gonna. I know what I do wrong, like you do. Like I get it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm a
not gonna.
man, dude. Like I'll admit when I'm fucking up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit over here and I can give advice here, but it doesn't mean I
Yeah.
always follow it because I've
Sure.
done the same thing. I mean, you get addicted to making it, and it's nice when you make it and you see that account grow, or you have a lot of things that come up in life, and like it happens to everybody, where you got to burn a lot of money sometimes on things. It might be home
Yeah.
repairs, it might be medical bills. I had that
Vehicle.
happen to me recently.
Yeah.
I've dumped a fortune, and you know, you know about it and stuff, and things that for your house and things that you didn't foresee happening. Thank God we
Yeah.
saved, and then we put it away.
Yeah.
So we can
For
afford to
sure.
do it. But for guys like us, it gets scary to us when we're dropping $10,000, $15,000 on something, and we're like, that's a lot of money that we worked hard for. So
Well, and
then,
you don't know if that money flow is always going to be coming in, right?
sure,
You
sure,
have your monsoons and you have your dry spots of making money. So when
yeah,
that money's coming in good, you got to get it, man. You got to get
yeah,
out there and get it. Nobody's going to give it for you. And I'll tell you one thing, like when you grow up poor and you start to see that kind of success and you're able to provide that for yourself and stuff that
sure.
you didn't have, dude, it's even more hard to stop doing it,
Oh, absolutely.
because now you're getting things that you never thought you would have. You're experiencing things that you never thought you would, and you're providing things that you never thought you could.
Hmm.
And it's just it's hard to let that go.
Dude, money's a powerful thing because when you start making it and you start getting to the point in life where you can do the things that you never did,
Hmm.
or things that you've always wanted to do, or you can see the fruits of your labor in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in a house, a car, a fat account, money,
Right.
whatever. That's a beautiful thing, but it's this awful thing that happens to us too. We've talked about it on the show here, before, is when you start making that, it's not enough. And then it's
Well,
like,
no.
it's like, okay, I made a grand.
Yeah.
Grand's great. Oh, awesome. I want to make another 5,000 next, and then
Right.
10,000, 15, 30, 60, 100, you're going up
Yeah.
and up, and you're never satisfied and content.
No.
And, it's a bad quality to have because,
It is a bad quality, and I'll say this too, to admit my own faults. And like I said, I'm a big boy. I know when I'm wrong and what I do wrong. Um, when you work that much and you're not getting as much sleep as you need, your mind isn't going to be healthy, and you're not going to be the happiest person to be around
yeah,
at certain times. Especially in the morning. That's one of my faults. I'm a grumpy bastard in the morning. It's because my body aches. I've had a stroke at a very young age, and it really weighs on me. I have to work that much harder to think properly. I have to work that much harder to keep up on my left side, and my right side tries to compensate for it because the left side of my body goes numb and
hmm,
tingly. So I'm a grumpy bastard in the morning, man. I'm in a lot of pain, like you are. You have a lot of health issues too, and pains that you go through, and it sucks, man. It sucks real bad. So I appreciate the fact that my wife is patient with me. She understands those types of things. But everybody has their limit. Everybody has their limit. No matter how much you love somebody, that only goes so far. And you really gotta, when there's issues, and there's things that she does too, and
Sure.
she can speak on those to people and stuff. I'm not going to address those issues on here, but um, there's things that I need to change about myself, and I'm man enough to admit that, and for my family to grow together and closer. I'll make those adjustments, because
Hmm.
it's worth it to me. If these are the things that they're addressing to me as a man and as the head of this household, I need to make those adjustments.
Yeah, you don't want to let it get to the point where it becomes too late at some point too.
Right?
Uh,
Absolutely.
I've been guilty of that in the past, man, where there's things I could have done way different that who knows, maybe if I did those things different, maybe a couple things could have shifted around and done,
Right.
made a change and could have gone for the better, but you
Yeah.
live and learn on those things. You just don't want to wait till it's too late to change things about yourself,
I
that
think
that you might need
maturing,
to.
like when we're young men, we're so full of piss and vinegar that we can do no wrong,
Yeah. Yeah.
like we're stubborn in the fact that we think that we're the hot shit, and fucking there's nothing on this planet that we could do wrong and all that stuff. As I've matured and as I've grown older, I realize I make mistakes. And
Hmm.
the best saying that I ever heard was from a video you shared with me.
Yeah.
If you
Fall
fall
forward.
in life, you fall forward. At
Yeah.
least learn something when you fall. And,
Yeah.
and it goes with anything, whether it's at your work, whether it's at your personal relationships, your friendships, your family, your wife, your spouse, that kind of thing. If your guys' marriage is falling or failing, at least fall forward. When it's all said and done, both of you learn something about each other and you come closer. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah, it's failure is inevitable though, and it's one of the things we
it
have
is.
to recognize in life. We can't accept it all the time. We have to learn from it and grow from it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you learn the most from your biggest failures in life
Yeah.
sometimes, and that's an unfortunate thing. You can have a million successes and a million great things that you do and a million
Right.
things that people want to model after you, but
Yeah.
you often don't learn as much as you do from when you fell flat on your face and you made some big
Right.
mistakes in life or you had some bad things happen to you. You don't always learn as
Well,
much from that.
and I'll tell you what, dude, love is hard. Like it's the
Yeah.
hardest thing in the world. That's why true love is even harder to find, because it's about showing up. It's about showing up for your spouse and being there, and humility and stuff like that are very important in a relationship. You got to admit when you're wrong. You have to
Hmm.
be able to look in the mirror and admit when you're wrong in situations. It has to be a give and take situation. It can't be all take, or your marriage will never work. You
And
know,
and you can't be the one too to always admit being wrong all the time, so the
sure.
other
You
person
can't be a
doesn't.
pushover. Yeah,
Dude, well, I think we've all been there at some point in a
right.
relationship where we've been a pushover for somebody. It's
Sure.
not a good feeling either,
It's not.
but
It's
it's like
not.
failed relationships. I think if I know I can only speak for myself, so I can't speak for other people, but
Right.
I think a lot of people would agree with me on what I'm about to say that failing in a relationship, especially a marriage, is probably the most awful, demeaning, low moment of your life that
It's
you go through.
embarrassing,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I mean,
humiliating, it's embarrassing, it's the complete sign of failure right
yeah.
there. You can't
It
deny
makes
that
it
failure.
look like you haven't done your job in
Yeah,
life.
100%. You
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 know.
wear that fucking failure right on your forehead,
Oh
man.
yeah. Oh
For
yeah.
as always, and
Especially
it's
because when you're getting married and everything's good, your family's there, your friends are
sure,
there, they see it all. You're supposed to be the man of the house, and then when your house fails, that falls on us as men. I
yeah,
mean, that's the honest to God truth. I mean, we set the direction of our household. We're
yeah,
one of, we're part of the two pillars of the house, being the wife and the man. But we're supposed to go out there and get the shit done. We're supposed to take care of the family, be Superman, tend to your wife's wants and needs, tend to your kids' wants and needs and stuff like
hmm,
that. So, you know, as a man standpoint, we always have that stigma of we're not doing our job to the outside world when stuff like that falls apart. Because the woman, and I'm not trying to be sexist here, I'm just being honest.
no, it's just your opinion.
Yeah, when the woman takes off, she usually gets the kid. She goes off, she finds another man, and everything's hunky dory. They don't get looked down on like that.
Yeah,
It's when you're the man, it's, well, what the fuck did he do to mess that up? You know, and that's a tough stigma to overcome, man. And I feel for men nowadays. in those situations, because sometimes it's not the case.
You know my fucking friends I lost at my divorce. I mean, you know that I've told you story.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It couldn't have been further from the truth. I mean, you had your faults in the marriage,
sure,
and so did she, right?
Yeah.
And we can both admit that.
Yeah.
But to have friends like that would choose sides in a situation like that, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
they left your side because they look at you as the villain because you're the man in the relationship.
And the reality was, and I'm not going to get into my divorce and what it was just a breakdown over time of things, but when it came down to that situation, like you said, you get looked down upon as a man sometimes in that circumstance. Man, people will take the side of the other person, even if there's no side for them to take and there's no validity to what they're saying, or sometimes your silence is construed as you did something wrong, when in reality you just don't want to talk about it with people.
You don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah. And you see people's character when you go through rough shit in your life. You see the character of the people who stand by you, that they'll be there for you. I know for me, friend-wise, there was only a handful of people that was there every minute for me. You were there for me all the time. Chris was there for me. Daniel, my friend, was there for me. A couple other my good buddies around here, my family. But man, you learn real fast in life when you're down and you fail, you're falling right in your face. You learn who's there for you and who gives a shit.
Those people will pull you forward.
Absolutely.
They'll drag your ass forward. It's important to have those relationships.
I don't know about you, but I like that shit sometimes. I don't know. I like the adversity sometimes in life, and I love when people count me out because I like to come back and I don't quit.
Absolutely.
I'm not a quitter. I've had times where I've had nothing in life. I've had times where I've had everything. I've had times where I fell flat on my face and was in the worst points of my life. Yeah. But man, every little bit of adversity, I always tried to take it and grind with it. And
same here.
And losing relationships and stuff like that, man, it is hard work, but it's the worst feeling in the world to go through. And I think sometimes we stay in relationships though too because we're worried about how it's going to look when we fail,
Right.
And that's a problem sometimes we do a lot of times too. It's like we just don't want to look like a failure, and we don't want to admit that it's done and it can't be fixed or something like that. And I'm not saying that it's in your circumstance. I'm just saying in general.
No, in general,
and we keep repeating the same mistake. It's like at a job too.
It's the definition of insanity.
Yeah, same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It's like if you ever had a job that you worked at that you just sucked at it.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a job like that?
Well, that you sucked at it, or you just fucking couldn't stand it.
Both, maybe. You sucked at it, couldn't stand it.
You just wasn't kept doing it out of your pride, getting in the way. And I'm not gonna admit, like, especially like to your dad or something. I'm not gonna admit to him that I can't do this or I don't want to do it. So I'm gonna do it anyways to show him. You know what I mean?
I did that as a kid. I had a job at my 16th birthday. I was working at Burger King. Good pay, good hours. At the time I was making good money for a kid. I got a bug up my ass. I wanted to be a dishwasher. Biggest mistake you could ever make in your life is to go be a dishwasher unless you had to do it. It's an awful job. You ever done it?
No, I never was a dishwasher.
It's the worst.
As a pizza boy, never a dishwasher.
Oh, the worst job ever. You're dirty, you're disgusting. My dad tells me, he's like, don't give up this job for that. Don't do it. He's like, you're going to regret it. It's not a desired job. Come on. You got a good thing going here. No, I didn't want to listen. My dad tries to talk some sense into me. Didn't listen. Ended up taking the job. Within 30 minutes of being there, I knew I made the biggest mistake in the world by taking this job. But instead of, admitting that I made a mistake at this point in my life, here I am, going to work every day. And I did it for a month, 2 months, something like that, maybe even a little bit longer. And I hated it. And then I finally one day said to my dad, I quit. I couldn't do this job. I hate it. I'm getting another job. And then my dad just looked at me. He's like, how long have you felt this way? I said, well, just recently. He's like, to be honest, how long have you felt this way? Since the minute I started it. He's like, why didn't you say it? Well, I didn't want to say I made a wrong choice. Didn't want to say I made a wrong choice. And again, I told you so. And my dad's like, so you went over there every day, and instead of just admitting you were wrong in this circumstance,
eating the humble pie, man.
Yeah, just saying I was wrong and moving on and learning from it. And you did it every day and went to do something you hated just out of stupidity. He's like, not a smart move.
Not a smart move.
Be forefront with people, honest with them.
Yeah.
Take your licks like a man.
I think that's the biggest thing is honesty with yourself and honesty with
Sure.
everybody else in your life. Like that's the biggest plague I think we as humans face. Like when you're doing stuff you don't want to do for somebody or that you're in with, and you don't communicate it with them, because then it builds up into resentment, and then by the time it all comes out, it's an explosion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that you can't control at that point because you're so mad that all you're thinking about is the anger that you're feeling and not the overall situation, that this could have been worked out at a sooner time.
Mm-hmm.
If I just would have spoke up sooner, this wouldn't be the snowball effect that it is.
You never want to get to the point too where you resent your partner,
Right.
your love, your life, your person you're supposed to
Right.
be, you know, defending and protecting for the rest of your life and being the
Right.
best partner you can be for them. Like,
Well, and it's crazy because you look at your past and how much you love the person and what you've
mm-hmm,
been through and all you've done for that person, and you get to that point and it's almost like you're in a state of shock because you're like, is this really happening? Like,
mm-hmm,
is this really ending all the effort that I put in, all the time that I put in, the blood, sweat, the tears, the going through hell, all this stuff, and we're just gonna walk away like this?
mm-hmm.
It's a humbling experience to go through, man. It is. And you're either gonna get in the trenches like you promised you would in sickness and in health and fight for your marriage or your relationship, whatever it is out there, or you're gonna make the other choice that a lot of people make nowadays, and it's to walk away.
Yeah.
But either way, you got to do what's healthy for you and your mind. I'm not saying to stay in a relationship that's at a dead end. I'm not one of those that, says, "Oh, you need to make it work no matter what."
But at least give it a
Sometimes
fucking try.
at least give it a try. Sometimes people don't work out, and that's just the reality of life. You know.
You can fight it sometimes all day long. Like I look at my ex-wife, and I don't have anything bad to say about her. She's a very good person in so many ways. We were just different people,
Just different people.
just different people, and I'm not ever going to badmouth her to anybody like that
Sure.
because it would be bullshit. She had
Mhm.
so many tremendously wonderful qualities to her too,
Sure.
and she also had a lot of ones I didn't like, and that's
Right.
why it just didn't work out. And
And
I
that's
can say,
okay.
yeah, it
You know.
is, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, for the most part, I think we did everything we could have done. We stayed together for 18 years, and we had a lot of great times, and I think she
Yeah.
would admit to that.
Beautiful children.
Absolutely, but we had
Yeah.
a lot of bad times too at certain
Sure.
points, and we just weren't compatible with one another. But we
Yeah.
gave it effort, and I'm at least proud of that. I'm not proud of the mistake that I made, and I try to use it I try to use it as a learning tool for my kids, and as
Mhm.
I move towards further relationships in my life with
Yeah.
people, is I'm never going to make some of these same choices again. And
Right.
I think sometimes too, when I see this with people, is like the opposites attract thing. And it's like, yeah, they might attract temporarily sometimes
Mhm.
too. But when you're completely the polar opposite of your partner, the
Yeah.
likelihood of you clashing huge is going to be hard. So I knew for
It's the
me,
truth.
I want somebody that's very similar in my beliefs and very
Yeah.
similar in
You
my
can be a best
lifestyle.
friend.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to be this guy that's going to go out with you and be, tearing down the clubs till 4 a.m. I'm not going to
Right.
be this guy that jumps around and goes everywhere and does this, and this and parties it up. I'm a
Yeah.
quiet, introverted person. I like to stay at
Sure.
home. My ex wasn't. She
Right.
would always want to be go, go, go. I didn't want to be. It's not who I am.
Mhm.
Opposites don't always attract too, folks, because of that. You
Right.
know, you will clash with one another. Like
You
with your
will.
exes, when you see it, like, were you guys opposites or similar personalities?
You know what? We in my previous relationship, I don't even like calling it a marriage because the marriage should have probably never happened. We met off of drugs and stuff like that, and everybody knows I've had substance abuse issues. I've said it on the show before, so it's not really a shocker here. But that's how my original, I guess, quote unquote marriage started, was drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And in drug addicted relationships, usually your odds of making it after you get sober are very, very slim to none.
Yeah.
Um, once I had gotten sober first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was still on her medicine and stuff like that. And I, for a long time, was asleep. My body was asleep, everything like that, being on those kinds of medicine. Your body, you're very introverted, you're very sleep all the time, that kind of thing. Um, so when I came out of it, I wanted to go do things.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do my collection. I wanted to do this podcast with you. I wanted to be the best I could be at work and all that kind of stuff. See my friends again, that kind of thing. And she took it as I basically abandoned her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but we were already disconnected prior to that
Mm-hmm.
because we saw everything differently, much like what you're saying.
Similar paths, but very opposite styles and personalities, right?
Opposite styles and personalities. She was very much into the drama of her family members. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything that her sister
Oh Lord.
went through, we had to take on. She had to come live with us when they went into some financial issues.
Jesus.
It was never going to be about my household. It was always going to be about fixing somebody else's. And I got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore, and I got to a point where I was being viewed as just a financial provider, not just for my household, but somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the last straw or the last nail in the coffin of that relationship was I'm not going to be taken advantage of when there's two capable adults that have a child that can provide for their own family and build what we have, themselves. They're capable of it. They're just not doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wasn't willing to keep my mouth shut about it anymore. And I wasn't willing to put myself in that bind anymore or that responsibility of taking care of two households.
Mm-hmm.
We got to a point where I was sleeping in a separate room. That's when you really know things are going downhill,
Yeah.
when you're not even able to be in the same room as the person.
I didn't sleep in the same room with my ex for like 6 months at one point.
That's when it's pretty much a done deal.
You're just like fucking just roommates passing each other by that really don't like each other that much anymore.
You really don't like it, and it sucks, dude.
You're just there because you gotta be.
It's a brutal thing to go through because, like, when your family members don't know about those issues going on, and Christmas and holidays are coming around, and you got to go kind of play the part. And, oh yeah, we're doing good, but you're really fucking not. You're not even looking at each other. You don't even want to breathe the same fucking air. Like, it's hard, dude. It was a very hard time to go through for me.
Did you openly share it with people though, like outside of a couple of good friends?
I shared it with you.
Yeah.
I remember sharing it with you, my distaste for the situation, and kind of my game plan for where I was going. You knew that I knew that the writing was on the wall for that.
Of course, yeah.
And that was a hard time for me, man, because it's like we're saying, you stay in things sometimes just because you want to prove people wrong and be like, no, that's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to be a statistic and shit like that. But then, as a man, I had to get over myself in that fact and be like, okay, it's okay to go be by myself. It's okay to do things for myself and to make myself happy. I had to get over that. I was so codependent on fixing everybody's shit back then, that I lost track of myself, and I had to find that again. And I did, and it took a good long while. And when you go through that, it's a punch in the gut, because everything that you defended, everything that you worked for turned to shit. And you have to learn how to pick yourself up out of that and realize at the end of the day, you still have yourself that you're responsible for waking up each and every day and being happy. And if you're happy, you can't make other people happy. Happen. No matter how hard you try, you will never be truly happy, and others around you won't be truly happy until you fix yourself.
It's the worst facade to live with too, when you have to kind of portray you're happy when you're not.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Like people do that shit like on social media all the time. You'll see it on Facebook. That's why I hate
force it.
Yeah. Like it's why I hate shit like that. Like with Facebook, where like people's putting every fucking day. Susie got the second place award in this place, and here's my love of my life. He's wonderful and did this, or she is. And maybe some of these situations it's true, but you see people who just put bullshit up there, and then they hate each other behind closed doors.
Yep.
You know.